يا أمة الإسلام بشرى لن يطول بك الهوان قد لاح فجرك باسما فلترقبي ذاك الزمان.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The last few days of Ramadan, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept your du'as and your deeds, and may He fulfill all of your dreams. If you are enjoying this content, please share it widely. If you like this video, please share it. It could be that someone that you share this video to, it could change their lives for the better, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward you for that. Please leave a comment and just share one reflection or one thing that you benefited from, or any way that you can add value to this video. Today's video is something relating to jinn possession. So if that's something that freaks you out, then make sure you're in a safe place when you're listening to it. The first time I saw something like this, it freaked me out as well. So don't worry about it. You're in good company. A brother I met many years ago, and he told me that he had got married, and for many years he was unable to have children. So he tried various options and various things the couple tried, but they were unable to have children. And at some point they found out, or someone asked them to check, that it's possible that there could have been some black magic that is done on them, or it could be due to jinn possession. So it was ascertained that some magic had been done on the brother, and magic, it involves jinn possession. So a jinn, it comes and it possesses you, it comes inside your body, and it sort of prevents the couple from having children. So what happened is that he went and he tried to get treatment for this in his own country, and he traveled to different countries around the world, but nothing was working. And he's spending a lot of money and time and effort, and it's taking a mental toll, but he's still not able to get rid of the jinn. So eventually, in the last ditch attempt, he went to travel to Malaysia. Malaysia have a very good tradition of ruqyah, of treating spiritual problems and jinn possessions, and it's a type of art that they have cultivated over many generations. So he spent a lot of money. He traveled to Malaysia. He's living in a flat there. He's going through intense ruqyah. Like, it will start after Fajr and it would last all the way until Maghrib. So 6 or 8 hours a day he's spending having Quran recited on him, and it's a very painful process. Like, sometimes it actually causes you pain. I've seen it happen. Actually causes you pain. So after 3 months of this now, from several hours, 6 to 8 hours a day, he's sitting there and like he's getting battered every single day. Quran is being recited upon him. He's spending money. It's taken a toll on the relationship with his wife. He's at the point of despair. He's thinking, you know what? Nothing is going to solve this. I can't do this anymore. And he's at the point where he's about to give up, and he's about to just get on with his life like this never happened. So at that point, when he was at his lowest point and he had lost hope and he was in despair, he saw a dream, and he's telling me this. He said, I saw the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam come to me in a dream, and he had with him a bowl of dates, and he offered me this bowl of dates. He said, I can't remember if I took from the dates or not, but he offered me a bowl of dates, and that was the dream. He said, at that moment, that was what I wanted. That was what I needed, because that gave me hope that there is still some hope in what the Prophet ﷺ is telling me. In the prophetic medicine, there is some hope that maybe there will be a solution to my problem. So that gave me renewed hope, and I continued. And just a few weeks later, the Sheikh, the Raqi, the reciter, he was able to convert. There was a group of jinns, but he was able to convert the main one to Islam, and there was a group of them, a group of jinns with him. That jinn converted to Islam, and so did his friends. And then the Sheikh told them to go to Mecca and to study Islam, and they promised to do so, and they left the brother and they went. And then after that, his problems resolved. He had children, and that problem of his was resolved. 3 reflections from this dream. Jinn possession is real. Jinn possession, evil eye, black magic, envy, these type of things are real, they exist. I've seen it happen myself. The first time it happened, yes, it freaked me out, because there was a brother, he came to me and he said, my wife has been in a mental hospital for 3 months, she just went to a wedding party and I don't know what's happened to her, she's just acting real strange. There was a friend of mine, a Saudi friend, may Allah have mercy upon him, and when I mentioned it to him, he said, oh, it's probably what you're telling me seems like it's jinn possession. So he had some experience of ruqyah, and he said, okay, I'll do ruqyah on her. We went to the house, and I was just the driver. I just took him there because it was it was someone that I knew. I went there, I'm sitting in the living room, and the brother, the reciter, is sitting there, his wife is sitting there, the wife, as in the lady who has the spiritual problem, she's sitting there across the room from me, the brother reciting is sitting next to her, and there's a couple of other people in the room. The woman's husband is there, the woman's mother is there, there's 4 or 5 people in the room, and I'm just sitting there. So the Raqi, he starts reciting from the Quran, and I've never seen something like this before, so I'm a bit uneasy as it is. So he starts reciting Quran, and then the woman, and she was covered in a face veil, so she starts then moving her head towards the reciter, then she starts reading verses, or she starts speaking in a like, she's a woman, she starts speaking in a man's voice, she starts saying different things, and at that point I'm feeling really uncomfortable. I'm like I'm pretty freaked out, like, because I have never seen anything like this. I mean, I believe in jinn possession, I know it exists, but I've never seen anything like that before. Then all of a sudden she stops and she asks me, she goes, you, and I'm like, what? You're talking to me? She goes, are you going to help me? Are you here to help me? And I said, yes. So, I mean, when a jinn asks you if you're there to help, you obviously say yes. So I was freaked out. I said, yes. Anyway, so the brother, he recited the Quran. Alhamdulillah, they were able to cure her and get her out of the hospital. But subsequently, when I've seen stuff like that, I mean, the first time is scary, but subsequently it's not scary. I mean, I've seen it happen many times. It's real, it exists. There was this true story that happened in I think at Reading University, which is to the west of London. There was a brother, and he had some possession. He was possessed by a jinn, some magic had been done on him. A brother came and recited Quran on him, and eventually, after sessions of ruqyah, of recitation, he managed to speak to the jinn, and he said to the jinn that okay, I'll give you 3 days, you have to leave this man's body because you've got no right to be here, and go back home, go back to your country, wherever you're from, leave this man alone. So the jinn promised, and he said, if you're here after 3 days, I'm going to recite until I kill you. So the jinn promised him. He goes, okay, I'm going. So the jinn went. 3 days later, that brother calls the Raqi, the reciter, back, and he says, I've got, the same problem is here. It's like the jinn has come back. So then that sheikh came and he recited again, and he spoke to the jinn. He said, I gave you a warning, now I'm going to recite until you die. The jinn said, please, don't kill me. This is what happened. He said, I went to Heathrow Airport, but I couldn't find which terminal to find the plane to go to Malaysia. That's why I couldn't go home. So he said, please don't kill me. So what the sheikh did, he said, okay. He said, such and such person is going to Malaysia next week. You just follow him. Stay with him, follow him until he goes to Malaysia. But once you land at Kuala Lumpur airport, you have to promise me that you're going to leave him. And the jinn promised that that's what he was going to do. So then it left and it went to this other person. The funny thing is that other person who's traveling to Malaysia, he wasn't part of the deal. No one consulted him. And he has no idea that he's taking an extra passenger with him. He's accompanying an extra passenger all the way to Malaysia. But I think it worked and it reached it. This is a true story, by the way. It's maybe funny, but it is funny, but it's a true story. Point being, jinn possession is real, and it's nothing to be afraid of, because jinn are just something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created. The first time you see it, if you're not used to it, you might feel a bit uncomfortable, but they're all part of Allah's creation, and Jinn are not more powerful than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala nor his angels. So that's the first lesson. The second reflection from this story, most mental health problems are not actually spiritual problems, or they are not related to jinn possession or black magic. We have this trend in the Muslim community. Someone is depressed, he's possessed by jinn. Someone has schizophrenia, he's possessed by jinn. Someone has PTSD, he's possessed by jinn. Someone acting funny or talking to themselves, straight away they say it is jinn possession. But Muslim psychiatrists, who are also students of Islamic knowledge and sheikhs and imams, so they're twin. You have people that are psychiatrists and they are like scholars of the religion. They've done a lot of research in this area, and they have concluded that most problems that people have, which they think are spiritual problems due to jinn possession or black magic or evil eye, they are not actually related to that, but they're just regular mental health problems. So for example, you see an adult and that person is depressed. He can't, and by depressed I don't mean low mood. I'm talking about this person is depressed. He's losing weight. His appetite is down. He can't sleep. He can't seem to do anything. Can't he just feels fatigue all the time. He wishes that he wasn't alive. He goes and asks someone. Goes, oh, you're probably possessed by jinn. Let's take you to some raqi. So you go to a raqi and they take a lot of money. You spend a lot of money there, and then you have to buy like a £100 jar of honey, and you have to buy like 100 pounds of dates, and they upsell, and you end up paying a lot of money. In some cases, many of these raqis, and I'm sorry to say, and if you're one of the sincere ones, it doesn't apply to you. There's been cases that I know of where well-known raqis and reciters, a woman has gone to them for ruqyah, and the guy has her number, and he's like proposing to her. He's like sending her messages at 1 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, I'm making dua for you, and why don't you get married, and this and that, like really creepy type behavior. So they unnecessarily, people are putting themselves through all of this. The first thing to ascertain, so if you think that you may be possessed by jinn, it is possible, it happens, but it's not as common as people make it out to be. The first thing that someone, a raqi or a spiritual healer, the first thing that he would ascertain is whether or not maybe you have a mental health problem. They'll find out about your history, your childhood. Maybe you had a traumatic childhood. The reason you are depressed age 25 is because you had a traumatic childhood. There's a cause, there's an effect. Like, don't blame jinn. Jinn have got nothing to do with it. Something happened to you. You're a war refugee, and now age 25, you saw your family get killed age 7, and now age 25, you're depressed, you can't eat, you can't sleep, you're losing weight, and someone says to you, it's all jinn, it's jinn related. No, there's a clear cause and an effect. It might not be as dramatic as war. It could be just like your parents were exceptionally harsh on you, or they shamed you, or they were violent with you, or they humiliated you, or something like that, and that's affected your personality, and you're not able to do something, and those things can be healed. There's a very clear cause and effect. But once you've ascertained that those problems, they don't exist, at that point, and then there's other symptoms. So for example, for jinn possession or black magic, if you're seeing a dream where you're seeing a black cat, or you're seeing a black dog, or you're seeing a black snake, or you're seeing yourself in a dream where you're at the top of a tower or a high place and you're being pushed off it, or you're in a room which doesn't have any windows or doors and you're trapped and you can't get out of there. So there's a number of other symptoms that are related to jinn possession. Sometimes there's both. Sometimes people have both mental disorders, and when they're weak and vulnerable as a result of mental disorders, then the jinn finds this person is vulnerable and they're able to be possessed by jinn as well. But most problems that people think is actually jinn possession is not actually a spiritual problem, it's a mental health problem. I remember once his brother told me a story where his father, soon after he left work, he was acting very strange and saying strange things, and so he thought that he spoke to someone that said, he might be possessed by jinn. So they brought a raqi, a spiritual healer, they brought him to the house, and this raqi then sits him down. He starts to recite Quran, starts to recite. So after about an hour, and there's no reaction from the man. So if you have jinn possession, the person will start to react. The brother's father is sitting there, no reaction. He's just listening there. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, 45 minutes, no reaction. He's just sitting there, normal, listening. After about an hour, then he started pointing towards the toilet, said, I need to go to the toilet. And the reciter, he said, the healer, he said, no, don't let him go, because that's a jinn. Because the jinn doesn't want to listen to the Quran, the jinn is telling him to go to the toilet. So they said, no, just stay here. 15 minutes go by. So now we went 1.5 hours. After a while, he keeps pointing that I need to go. And the reciter is saying, don't let him go. Eventually, he's bursting and he just gets up and he just goes. He has to go. And he comes back. And basically, another brother who was present there, who was a student of knowledge, he said, I don't think your dad has a spiritual problem, because he's not reacting to the Quran. Maybe his problem is mental. And later on, it was found out that his problems were mental, and there was a very difficult childhood, and as a result of that, now he's in his 60s. That's why he's acting the way that he is acting. So most problems that people think are jinn possession are not actually jinn possession. I'm not an expert in this area. There's a lot of material out there, but what I will say is that sometimes spiritual healers and the raqis, they will try to sell you, you know, for them it's in their interest to say that every mental health problem, every problem that you have in the world is all related to jinn possession, and that's actually not correct. Most of them are mental health problems with clear causes and effect and ways to heal, not by medication. I mean, sometimes a person may need medication temporarily, but through therapy, through treatment, these things, they can be resolved, and it's much easier or much cheaper than you're going to a raqi or reciter. But jinn possession is real. It does exist, and it has clear symptoms and signs. And one of them is that when Quran is recited upon that person, then that person starts visibly reacting in different ways. I've seen that happen in many ways. If you have a mental health problem, you're depressed, or you have OCD, or you have schizophrenia, and someone recites certain verses of the Quran on you, it's not going to have an effect on you. But if you have a spiritual disease, or if you have jinn possession or black magic, reciting certain verses of the Quran on you, that person starts reacting or twitching, or in some cases, shouting or screaming. I've seen that happen many times. So that's how you know what type of problem it is. And the third reflection from this, prevention is better than cure. No one likes to be possessed by jinn. No one likes to be subjected to black magic or evil eye. Prevention is better than cure. 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes in the evening, there's a collection of du'as called Words of Remembrance for the Morning and Evening. And in the description of this video, I'm going to put a link where you can find them. They are a collection of about 10 or 15 du'as from the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ that he used to recite every morning, which means after Fajr, and every evening, which means after Asr, but before Maghrib, before the night begins. And he would recite them. They'll take you about 10 minutes. And as you learn to memorize them, you'll be able to do them. It'll take maybe take you 6-7 minutes or so just to be able to say all of them. Those du'as, they will protect you. And do those du'as, learn those du'as, say those on your children. I'm actually shocked how many Muslims, they don't say the words of remembrance for morning and evening. Some people, they say 3 qul huwallahu ahad, falaq and nas. Some people say those in the morning and evening, and that's it. It's not enough, because there are these problems out there with evil eye, black magic, envy, jinn possession. They do exist. And starting your day, going outside into the world without having done these du'as, it's like you're going out on a cold winter's day without wearing any clothes. And the more of these du'as you do, consider it like you've just put an extra layer on until you're nice and warm and fully protected. Please learn these du'as. Your life will change. They won't just protect you against jinn possession and black magic and spiritual problems. Your life will change. There'll be much more energy and blessing in your day, and you'll be stopped from getting scammed or being bitten by a dog, or tripping over and falling over, or having an accident. These du'as will give you all-round protection from these things. Prevention is better than cure. To say this 10 minutes in the morning and evening, it's better than going through spending time and effort and money and months, or if not years, trying to get a problem resolved. And I know many people who have been possessed by jinn or have had black magic done on them, it's a life sentence. It's like cancer. It stays with you until your grave in some cases. Then there's other du'as before entering the toilet, coming out of the toilet, before putting your clothes on when you're naked. So you say a du'a to protect yourself so that the jinn or the shaitan doesn't see you while you are naked. Being careful of extremes of emotion. So jinn, they can enter a body when there are extremes of emotion, extreme anger, extreme fear, for example, extreme happiness, not happiness, or extreme laughter, for example. When a person is like in control of their senses, jinn are able to enter at that point. Horror movies, I mean, why would you watch a horror movie? Horror movies are psychologically disturbing, and I'm sure there's an element of jinn there to make you scared. So people who watch a lot of horror movies, they tend to get possessed by jinn because they're so scared, and at that point the jinn enters them and they have nightmares. I don't know why anyone would watch horror movies. I mean, if you're like a thrill-seeking person, I mean, go bungee jumping or do something as a Muslim which you can. I mean, you know, I'm not sure of the benefits of bungee jumping, but if you're a thrill seeker, you know, you can find that in a computer game. You don't have to go and you know, you can find that in a game of football. You don't have to go and watch a horror movie. Those things, they psychologically and spiritually disturb people. Stay away from horror movies. Taking care of your hygiene, cutting your nails, cutting hair from the intimate regions, urine and feces, taking care with that, making sure to wash properly. When you go to the toilet, keeping your toilet clean, because urine and dirty things like that, najas, impure things, they attract jinn. Being careful at the rush hour. So the night especially, but the times of Fajr and Maghrib, those are rush hours for the jinn, because that's where the angels, they change shifts. The angels on your shoulders, they go up and more angels come down. So the time, and there's mentioned in hadith, the time just before Maghrib until just after Maghrib, and the time just before Fajr and just after Fajr, and the night. You see, so much evil happens in the night. Most crimes, murders, acts of lust and immorality, they all take place in the night. There's a lot of evil because the jinn are like out. Try not to go out unnecessarily. I mean, go out in the night, but take your precautions. Make your say your du'as when you do go out. You know, if you're someone who doesn't wear hijab, at least take care in the night, and when you're in forests and your places like that. There's been cases where women, they go out with their hair open and they're beautified, and they're going out just before Maghrib time, and they end up getting possessed by jinn because the jinn finds them attractive and he possesses them. So when you're beautifying yourself, I mean, one of the reasons, obviously, you don't wear hijab. You shouldn't wear hijab to protect yourself from jinn. You know, if you want, you know, hijab is something you should wear because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he tells you to wear it. But don't do it to protect yourself from jinn possession. But an additional benefit of doing that is just take care. So it may not be an hijab thing. Maybe you're just in your house and you're in a secluded part of your house. When you're going out into the open air and your hair is out and open, or you're looking beautiful, it's, you know, you may think there's no one around, but the jinn, they could be watching you. And I mean, Instagram, people share, you know, pictures of they beautify themselves and share lots of photos of themselves and beauty. It may not just be unwanted male or female attention that you're getting. You may be getting, you know, I'm sure the jinn are on Instagram. I'm pretty sure of that. Yeah, being careful around graveyards, around trees. So there's many, this is a vast topic. I mean, I'm not going to go into it. I'm not an expert in this, but prevention is better than cure. Learn these du'as 10 minutes after Fajr, 10 minutes after Asr. Learn them, and there's people that you can recite. You can say these du'as. Maybe after Ramadan, I'll recite. I'll upload a video of me saying these du'as so that it's easy for people to follow along if it interests you. Prevention is better than cure. So that was today's video. If you benefited from it, please share this video to someone who may benefit from it. Their life might change as a result of it, and you will get the reward for that. Until the next stream, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
أمة الإسلام بشرى لن يطول بك الهوان قد لاح فجرك باسما فلترقبي ذاك الزمان يا أمة الإسلام بشرى لن يطول بك الهوان قد لاح فجرك باسما فلترقبي ذاك